Hello again. Old Mutual is one of the financial institutions currently reconsidering Covid-19 vaccination policy. That's on the back of Standard Bank announcing recently that it was doing away with a requirement for people to be vaccinated. Old Mutual has also said it's on board with that direction. So if you work at Old Mutual at the moment, you'll no longer be required to produce proof that you've been vaccinated against COVID. But here is where things get tricky. Employees who left because they've not been vaccinated at Old Mutual are not guaranteed their jobs back. They will not be automatically re-employed, so to speak. Let's talk about the situation then with Joe Koleka, spokesperson for the finance union SASBO. Joe, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. Old Mutual says your members are no longer required to vaccinate as policy, but if you were sacked or you left, you're not re-employed automatically. Your feeling?
Look, thank you very much, Tabekele. The feeling of the union is that we do not think that Old Mutual is really correct on their decision. We still maintain as the union that all those people that were dismissed, all because of the vaccine policy, those people must be reinstated unconditionally. So we do not take kind of the stance of Old Mutual, because as it is, we believe that the rights of the workers, they were being violated. Even when you look at the policy when it was put into place, there was no regulation in this country or law that said that vaccines must be amended. So you ask yourself to say all these policies that Old Mutual and their friends that they've put into place, were they informed by what? And I can tell you to say, during the time when these policies were established, remember that we had 4 from the ministries that they were really talking different language. There was one from the Department of Employment and Labor from under, Tulas, where they're talking about, especially on that side of the Health and Safety Act. And then we had also the other one from the Minister of Koleka, where the minister was also saying other things, based on from the coronavirus, center. And then also got the other one from the Minister of Health, under Joe Pasha. And then also the President of the country. All 4 of them were talking different languages, which we believe.
So Old Mutual, Joe, along with other employers who made similar calls at the time around unvaccinated employees, and Old Mutual actually says this in their statement, that it wasn't a blanket rule. You could approach HR for an exemption, and if the grounds that you provided met the conditions at the time, that would then be granted. And there were even, at the early stages of the implementation of vaccine mandates, people who went to the CCMA and lost because the pandemic itself was at a very different stage at that point. So realistically, what can you do now?
Look, we are a union, and being a union, you will always have a notion that says if the employer has to speak to the employees, especially those which are unionized, the union has to be a first point of call. And in this regard, it never happened with Old Mutual. And I have to point out to say all those who have lodged their reasons for them not to be vaccinated. Already Old Mutual has made up their mind that no one will convince them. And remember that those reasons were based into 3 things. Typically, one was to say one must cite the medical health reason for them not to be vaccinated. The second one, it was about the constitution. And the third one, it was about the religion stroke culture. And all those fell into the yes. We've just seen the ruling of the CCMA recently, where one lady was being exonerated to say that her constitutional rights were violated. So we still believe that the rights of our members were violated, and we still believe that Old Mutual is cultural, religion intolerant.
So what will you do? Will you go to court to force them to re-employ these people, even though the company has said they can now reapply?
Look, that's why we've got the CCMA, and I think the CCMA has now tended to see things differently, and much as CCMA commissioners have now tended to see things differently. As the union, CCMA is our point of departure. We can also go to the Labour Court. And one thing that is giving us courage is the ruling by the commissioner the last time, about the unconstitutionality of the whole thing. So if it means that we go up to the Constitutional Court, as the union, will take Old Mutual there. Nothing is going to stop us.
What would inform that decision then? Will you, in the interim, while you decide, encourage your members to reapply for their old posts or whatever posts are available now? Because I'd imagine some of those jobs have since been filled.
Look, I don't think that is the problem of the members, and it's not the problem of the union. All that we're saying, I mean, when Old Mutual was introducing the policy, we warned them about this policy. And much as we warned them, they went ahead. So those members that were dismissed, we are demanding for their immediate reinstatement with no conditions attached. And that is something that will take us to court. Let the courts rule to say who really is, having an upper hand into the whole saga.
So your members will not be reapplying?
Look, they would not, if they want to reapply, they can. It's their prerogative. But one thing that has to happen is that the union will have to make sure that our members must not reapply. They must be reinstated with no conditions attached.
So Old Mutual says then, at the end of its statement on this issue, it says Old Mutual will continue to monitor developments related to the COVID-19 pandemic, and should the risk change, appropriate action will be implemented, including the reinstatement of mandatory vaccines.
Look, I think that they're getting from Old Mutual doctors, which I don't believe that the Old Mutual is a medical, institution. You could say that they are just doing things that they believe that they want to do, and you cannot hang, the employees, because of, according to them, it's they will just go with the flow. I mean, what has made them to come up with the policy? Nobody knows, it's only them. And what will make them now again to change? What now we're talking about the monkeypox. So are they going to change one day and say people are vulnerable and people must not be at work because of now this monkeypox? I think this year is the year of viruses. So Old Mutual, they must just make up their mind. They must tell exactly what they want and what they don't want. And I must say, that we are worried because of, we think as the union that other organizations now are using this pandemic as a retrenchment exercise.
Joe Gogela, spokesperson for Finance Union SASBO. Good to have your time, sir. We'll be tracking this story with a lot of interest going forward. For now, thank you for being on the program.